Hello. My name is Cleo, your digital presenter for today's event. Before we dive into the exciting and informative content we've prepared for you, here's a quick disclaimer. I'm actually an artificial intelligence (AI) designed and programmed to assist with sharing valuable knowledge and resources. I am here to provide evidence-based, up-to-date information and guidance, and will be sharing real stories from my colleagues at FND. Here at FND, we value honesty and transparency in all our interactions. We, at the Family Network on Disabilities, believe that the incredible advancements in technology, such as AI, can significantly enhance our ability to provide families with the resources, support, and information they need. All the information shared in this training comes from the dedicated team of experts at FND who have years of experience, rich understanding, and most importantly, a deep passion for supporting families just like yours. Family Network on Disabilities began in 1985 by a group of parents of children with disabilities who came together looking for mutual support. FND is a grassroots organization for persons with disabilities and their families that is family-centered and family-driven. What makes FND unique is that the majority of our board members, our management staff and program staff are either individuals with experience with a disability or have family members with a disability, which gives us the perspective of empathy and compassion for the work that we do. Before we begin, I'd like to share a little bit about Family Network on Disabilities. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization helping families across the state. We're funded in part by the U.S. Department of Education and the U.S. Department of Health through the Health Resources Services Administration. We use all that funding to provide information, resources, and support, and training to families, educators, professionals, and providers throughout the state. We do not charge for our services. At this time, we would like to make a disclaimer that we at FND are not attorneys, doctors, or mental health professionals. We do not offer legal or medical advice in our workshops. We are happy to support you with information, resources, and support. We use research-based information in our training and materials. Today we're going to be talking about assistive technology. So let's get started. The purpose of today's presentation is to provide some insights into how assistive technology is implemented and utilized to develop opportunities for individuals in school and beyond. Today we'll learn what assistive technology is and how does it benefit students. We'll also get into specific types such as DIY tech, mobile tech, and adaptive tech. What is assistive technology? Assistive technology is defined in IDEA as any item, piece of equipment or product system, whether acquired commercially off the shelf, modified, or customized, that is used to increase, maintain, or improve the functional capabilities of children with disabilities. Assistive technology has many benefits for students with disabilities. Through the use of assistive technology, students are to gain more independence and become more involved in the class discussion, and are able to work more productively. It can be helpful for independence and daily living, such as adaptive dressing devices, specifically designed toilet seats, stair lifts, and much more. For leisure, it can entail adaptive sporting equipment, modified scissors, beeping ball, or maybe an arm support for drawing. Visual aids can be incredibly helpful towards educations, such as audiobooks, large print books, and helpful note takers. The levels we have here is one which is no tech, and that's fine. It's still assistive technology. So when we're talking about that weighted spoon, or we're talking about a seat pad for maybe somebody who is on the spectrum or somebody who has ADHD and is very fidgety and they need some kind of a feedback, we give them one of those, and they're like little inflatable rubber seats, and they have little rubber spies, and so you get that feedback. That's no tech, but that would be a very important tool in helping an individual to get that feedback and to be able to sit comfortably and not be focused on elements of their disability that is manifesting in that classroom. Number 2 is that do-it-yourself tech. For example, a slant board with the Pringles can and the Dollar Tree clipboard. You can put anything together, maybe decorate it up with some sparkles. And it may work really, really well. Do-it-yourself tech is anything you can put together. We have our mobile tech, which we'll tackle more details about later. Then we have our adaptive tech. So, let's get into it. For no tech, the educational environment is able to be accessed without the use of any assistive device or equipment. With no tech, students are able to learn using the resources available in the classroom. It is important to understand that the way education is shaped today, most schools have computers in them. Do it yourself. This could be all kinds of things. The pencil grips, the spoons with grips, the slant boards, to talk about anything that's encouraging and helpful in the classroom. There is even adaptive paper. There's adaptive graph paper. There's papers that have special spacing. They have adaptive erasers, of course highlighters, some squishy balls, and fidgets. All of these would count towards do-it-yourself tech. What we're trying to do is help to accommodate those needs and make sure that there is a way to deal with them or to express them that allows for the least amount of distraction in the classroom and the best outcomes for our students. Our definition of DIEs that they do not require any power source and that it can be used from items found at the home. Hand grips, we kind of mentioned this before, adapted or weighted eating utensils, pencil grips, steering wheel grips, tennis ball, pencils, pen grips, adaptive drinking devices. There is a lot of things that fall under this one. Non-slip surfaces. These can help with motor jerkiness or for individuals who cannot perform small fine motor stuff. Providing slip mats and weighted spoons can really make a difference as they can now feed themselves independently. If this impacts your child, request those items and request that they are available at school. Especially if you're doing that at home, make sure that they have it at school as well. There are non-slip grips, post-it notes, portable desks, stands, slant boards, non-slip liners. There is a wide variety of fidget toys. It is better to have access to these things. Could the other children possibly notice that they have this toy? Possibly, but that's not your concern. If it will help your child to be able to focus, to ground, to be centrally sound so that they can participate in the lesson, this is not your concern. We teach that it's not just a toy, but something you can do this to focus. So, don't feel bad about asking. They are not just toys. They are actually helping a student be able to sit there and to absorb what is happening. That is a very real thing for our students on the spectrum. It's a very real thing for all kinds of people who have sensory integration issues. Say, individuals in wheelchairs, if they're experiencing any kind of sensory issue, then it's really going to be hard to focus. Sometimes you just have to move. Sometimes you just have to have a toy to squeeze so you can focus. Moving into our mobile tech, these are going to be the devices that travel with you in your daily life. Some examples of this mid-tech level include adaptive remotes, tracking pads, talking calculators, any kind of accessibility software like screen readers or voice-to-text or text-to-voice. There's a lot of options for that. Screen magnifiers, touchscreen computers, iPads, or any kind of tablets. Computers, of course your electronic tablets of any variety, Kindle, Samsung, whatever it may be. Portable word processors, of course these are less common given our current age. But AIC devices, which are your augmented communication devices, smart boards, alerting devices, and of course all of the features that go with our wheelchairs, whatever kind of stick controls or adaptations that we can do directly on that wheelchair that would help that person to be more independent. Cell phones and tablets. They can help provide accessibility, and they can help with organization. They can honestly help with a lot more than that, too. In this age that we have text-to-voice or voice-to-text, no longer do kids need to worry about whether you can write out the response or whether you can type out the response. If you can formulate a response, then you can have that written out by a computer. There is no reason to not be able to access that. The whole point of this is to make sure that we're not focusing on the modality of the schoolwork. We don't want to be concerned about if we're doing a lesson on comprehension. We don't want to be penalizing dyslexic students because it takes them longer to read the passage or maybe they're not going to be able to read that whole passage. If we're reading that passage for comprehension, then we can potentially be providing that child with dyslexia a means to be able to have it read to them. Then possibly if you add subtitles, you could actually be helping to anchor the correct orientations for that child. Then again, we can use text to voice, voice to text. We can enlarge things for people who have visual impairments. For people that are hard of hearing or deaf, we can have just wholly visual experience. We can help with communication programs that a person would be able to simply use a tablet and touch something and it speaks for them. We can help people who are completely nonverbal and of course the same way. We can help people with cognitive disabilities. So, cell phones and tablets have an amazing, amazing capacity. And of course it just keeps getting better. We can magnify the entire screen. We can zoom out on images. We can invert colors, which can lessen eye strain. We have headphones and hearing aids that can connect to a device via Bluetooth. So again, we can have for these options and it not be something that is a big deal. It's so easy. You just Bluetooth and connect and you have what you need. And of course, beyond the devices themselves, there's a bunch of amazing apps that just come with if you're using any kind of PC tablet or you're using your cell phone. There are some really great apps that can be helpful for us and for our families and just make life easier. Some of the apps that are really great are Google Drive, Calendar, Google Voice to Text app, and AdBlock. And again, these are available on anything. These are just Google's standard free package. Google Drive allows you to save photos, videos, documents, anything. You can save it through your cell phone. You can email it and do it that way. It goes everywhere you go, and you get 15 gigabytes for free to start with. So, again, if you're one of those people and you're wondering what to do with all these IEP papers, you could have a digital IEP binder. And that would be an amazing place to put all of those records if you have access to a scanner. Then you don't have to keep all of that paper around, but you have your IEP binder that you can access via whatever in that meeting. The Google Calendar, it's a great tool for organization. You can get reminded about things. You can use the map feature that's in there to get to your next meeting. If you just put in where you're going and what you're doing, it will just give you everything you need. Google Voice to Text allows the information and access by voice. So, this is a really amazing development for our people who are visually impaired or blind. It recognizes over 80 languages. So, no matter what you're working with, you have access to Google Voice to Text. Adaptive tech, this is a type of assistive technology where existing tools are adapted for use by individuals with disabilities. For example, somebody who can't use their arms or their hands, they could use a speech recognition system or a special camera that follows. They pick one of your eyes and you learn how to track with that eye to perform actions on the device. Isn't that amazing? Other examples would include driving controls for vehicles, special telephones for the deaf. So, that's again where we're taking something that's existing and we're just making it a little bit easier to use for whatever the reason is. Screen readers, so if you are visually impaired or blind, this is a great technology that you can utilize. It reads text-based web content out loud. Unfortunately, it won't describe images. But for any text that's on that page, you can just have it read. This works on a variety of websites. This is just going to be through that Chrome, through the browser itself. So, this is a wonderful app to look into. Magnification software, and as we know, magnification is increasing the size of whatever we're looking at, such as a particular web page. We have two programs that are particularly great at that. Zoom Text from AI Squared and Magic from Freedom Scientific. We also have our mobility equipment. So, this is having that manually operated chair, having the motorized chair, having a standard joystick or having the eye gaze, having the chin, the power chair. That's pretty self-explanatory. Eye gaze communication, we kind of talked about that. It allows students to be able to start to express themselves and to be able to engage with teachers in a way that is a lot more typical. Do not be worried about the expense involved in any of this if that's what you're thinking. Oh my gosh, what does that cost? The school district does have the obligation to acquire, to purchase, to maintain, to upkeep, to train the family. We hope that you have gotten some ideas. We hope that you feel comfortable going and talking to the IEP team. Do not be afraid to advocate for what your child needs. The obligation is on the school district to provide these things, and to also provide them where they go back home and come back to the school, because we don't want a child to only be functional in one environment. Here you can see our FND. Family. These are the programs housed under the Family Network on Disabilities. Each program provides a unique service to a specific population. There are 3 PTI programs, funded by the U.S. Department of Education through the Office of Special Education Programs. POPN serves North Florida, PSN serves Southwest Florida, and PEN serves Southeast Florida. The Family Star program, funded by the U.S. Department of Health under the Health Resources Services Administration and supports families of youth with special health care needs. FND also has a special needs trust where we provide families with information regarding creating and supporting a special needs trust. We also do programming specific to fathers raising children with disabilities. Here you can see links for multiple downloadable resources available in various languages. You can also see some of our social media platforms. We have various pages on Facebook addressing the needs of different populations and our programs. I invite you to check out our website at www.fndusa.org for the hundreds of pages of resources and invaluable information that you can access and download at no charge. You can reach us to help you and your family by giving us a call at 800-825-5736 and letting us know your needs. You'll be assigned to a staff person who can support you. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Visit our website for valuable resources and more information. We want to thank you for spending this time with us during this presentation. We look forward to hearing from you.